Welcome into our Locked On Sports special for this 2024 NBA trade deadline. 3 p.m. Eastern time, of course, is the deadline today. But Sean Woodley of Locked On Raptors would tell you that the Raptors give no care about the 3 p.m. Eastern trade deadline because maybe they have been the most active of all. Boy, We the North is doing things right now. The most recent one we want to talk about, we want to start with the trade where Kelly Olynyk Ochai Agbaji are actually who the Raptors are going to get. The Jazz, Otto Porter, Kyra Lewis, 2024 first-round picks, and Utah, LAC, Houston, OKC are all in sort of that mix because, hey, that's how it goes with the NBA trade. But when you heard about this particular trade, what were the first thoughts, Sean, in terms of what the Raptors are trying to do with this trade?
Yeah, I think like the first blush from a lot of people was, wow, the Raptors are trading a first round pick for an expiring Kelly Olynyk. Why would they buy right now? They're 18 and 33. But I think that kind of misses the point of what the Raptors are doing here. The Raptors with the Pascal Siakam trade got 3 first round picks, 2 of which are in the back part of this year's first round. They also, in the OG Anunoby trade, got what's probably going to be the 31st overall pick from the Detroit Pistons. So having 3 picks in the back part of this draft, there's a surplus to it, right? There's only so much you can do with 3 rookies coming in. And I think here the Raptors have made a decision to use one of those picks. It's the one that, like you said, it's sort of in that sort of hybrid of 4 teams, different fates in the standings. But ultimately, it's probably going to be the Clippers or the Thunder pick, which is going to be 28th, 29th in this year's draft. So they use that pick to get a guy in Ochai Agbaji, who I think they view as a more likely player to become a rotation piece in Scottie Barnes' early prime over the next couple of years here than unnamed teenager X, who they might take in this year's draft. Agbaji's a couple of years further along in his career, has a little bit of juice to his game, and addresses something the Raptors badly need, which is perimeter defense. And so I think that's the reasoning there. And then with Olynyk, I think the plan here is probably for the Raptors to try to retain Olynyk in the summer. They don't have a lot of money on the books. Pascal Siakam's not getting the bag from the Raptors. OG Anunoby's not getting the bag from the Raptors. They just moved off from Dennis Schroeder as well as we're talking here. And so they've got a lot of money this summer. I think they'll be perfectly content to offer a Canadian and Kelly Olynyk, the mid-level exception, something like that, to stick around and be a very viable backup center on a team that is young and developing and could use the guidance and wisdom of a backup center who throws cool passes and is very conducive to development. Just ask the 2023-24 Utah Jazz how helpful Olynyk was in developing some of their younger pieces. So that's the reasoning here for the Raptors. It's bolstering their position, not just for the rest of this season. It is for the long haul and making something out of a pick that they probably weren't going to have a whole lot of use for anyway by getting Agbaji in the door along with Olynyk.
Indeed. And, you said 2 buzzwords there. One set of buzzwords that you hear all the time that NBA teams love, and that's expiring contracts. The other is perimeter defense, especially when you look at the top of the Eastern Conference and you see how some of these teams are just balling out of control on the perimeter. And also you see some of the trade moves that have been made today, either for one of 2 things. Either teams are going to say, hey, we're going to score, so we're going to go out and get that perimeter shooter, or teams are saying like the Raptors, although you may not think of them as a team that's vying for the postseason. Okay, let's be real, Sean. Eastern Conference, it gets to be real muddy at the bottom, so you never know. They might miraculously sneak in to a play-in position. I mean, come on, let's just be real about it. And so it's not a bad deal to get Agbaji at this point if you're looking for that perimeter defense that might just sneak you in. But like you said, more importantly, you see a franchise in the Raptors that's looking forward and saying that we still have some pieces, we've got some assets, and we want to be able to do something now. Well, listen, for all of the Raptors conversation, the moves, the news, etc., make sure you check on Locked On Raptors with our guy, Sean Woodley, because, of course, it is a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, and it is your team every day.